A soldier's first reaction in combat is a wish to be brave. Then there is a secondary reaction. What have I got myself in for? Followed by, how do I get myself out of this?
Lee Burns was a sergeant in the British 8th Army in 1942. Today he is an editor of a newspaper in Southern California. Helmut Strelo was a sergeant in Rommel's Panzer Army in 1942. Formerly of Berlin, today he is a hotel manager in Southern California.
Man denkt nicht, wenn man kämpft. One doesn't think in combat. One reacts automatically. One becomes an animal, fighting instinctively to protect his life. Nobody wants to die on a godforsaken desert at 3 o'clock in the morning.
On a desolate strip of North African desert, the lives of Lee Burns and Helmut Strelo came together for a brief moment. Two fighting men, one German, one Englishman, relived that moment in history. I'm Jim Bishop. In 1941, the Italian army is trapped in Libya and nearly wiped out. At once, Hitler sends strong forces to bolster his ally, and the desert fighting enters a new phase. The man of the hour is Erwin Rommel, commander of the Africa Corps. It appears that nothing can stop him. By June 1942, the Germans have taken Tobruk, and the British fall back to their last defense line. If the Germans break through, the way to Cairo and the Suez Canal is open. The western desert of North Africa comprises 2 million square miles of empty hell. In this featureless landscape of blowing sand and drifting mirages, of 120-degree temperatures and no water, two armies have assembled. Their job? To annihilate each other. The victorious Panzer Army, standing within the borders of Egypt, consists of 4 German and 8 Italian divisions, totaling 96,000 men. One member of this proud army, a veteran of 13 months in the desert and a platoon leader in the 21st Panzer Division, is Sergeant Helmut Strelo.
Soon we will be in Cairo. We hear that the British are already evacuating. After so many months in the desert, it will be good to be in a city again.
These tough, self-reliant, and aggressive soldiers are brilliantly led by General Erwin Rommel. Rommel, known as the Desert Fox, is already a legend. His men idolize him. His enemies respect him. Even Churchill doesn't hesitate to call him a great general. The British strength is growing out of all proportion to that of the Germans. Rommel estimates that their strength will be superior to his by mid-September. Rommel must attack before the odds are against him. The British 8th Army, the opposing force in the desert, consists of 3 armored divisions and 7 infantry divisions and brigades, an army of 150,000 men. These Australians, New Zealanders, Indians, South Africans, Highlanders, Englishmen are under the command of the newly appointed General Bernard L. Montgomery. Since assuming command in August, Montgomery finds his army suffering from a Rommel complex. His men are so awed and mesmerized by this wizard of the desert that anything done well is called a Rommel. Monty sets out to shatter this legend and create his own. In the days to follow, Montgomery completely reorganizes the 8th Army and tells his men, "We stay here alive or we stay here dead." One Tommy, a veteran of the Tobruk fighting the previous fall, and now a mortarman with the 7th Armored Division, is Sergeant Lee Burns.
We wonder if this damn training and drilling will ever end. There are now plenty of materials and everything else to make the big move. We hope it comes soon. Waiting is hard to take. From now on, we are going to be doing the chasing. We are going to win, and that is all there is to it. It is an uplifting feeling to realize that we are starting in again. It's Monday for my money any day.
Throughout August, Allied convoys arrived from England and the United States. The ratio of ground strength is now 3-to-1 in favor of the British. The RAF already holds unchallenged command of the air. The British military leaders know Rommel must attack soon or forever lose any chance. Anticipating the attack, strong countermeasures are prepared. The British hope to draw Rommel into a calculated ambush. Rommel's main concern is his supply problem. Everything from tanks to bullets to fuel must make the dangerous Mediterranean voyage and then be trucked another 500 miles across the Libyan desert to the front. Some supplies are flown directly from Italy. The Royal Navy and the RAF make certain that the quantities are never adequate. By the end of August, the German supply situation is critical. For Rommel, it is now or never. He must take the offensive without further delay. Although suffering with a chronic liver condition, Rommel plans the attack. The element of surprise is all important. The plan is characteristic of Rommel. A fast diversionary move north along the edge of the coast, and a heavy attack 40 miles to the south. Then encirclement of the 8th Army striking from the rear. Next, smash through to the east across the desert to Cairo and the Suez Canal, the jugular vein of the British Empire. Rommel has promised sufficient supplies of fuel will arrive before the attack. You can start your battle, General. The fuel is on its way, he is told by the High Command. A little after midnight on August 30th, the attack begins. Soon the attack is slowed by encountering hidden British minefields. The surprise is lost. Rommel is now forced to attack the well-dug-in British positions. Before the day is finished, 3 of the 4 German generals leading the attack are killed on the battlefield. By the 3rd day, the RAF adds the finishing touches to the collapsing German offensive. With the attack lost, Rommel orders a withdrawal to the original positions. Rommel has lost more than a battle. He has lost the initiative. After the clash at Alem El Halfa, the British 8th Army begins to prepare for its own offensive. The attack is set for October 23rd to coincide with the planned Allied invasion of North Africa. Operation Torch, scheduled 2 weeks later. Montgomery goes to unusual lengths to confuse and deceive German intelligence as to the place and time of his attack. Mock-up tanks and phony supplies begin to appear in the south. It is an expert production of military stagecraft. A dummy pipeline is started. The Germans soberly estimate that it cannot be completed before November. In the face of the anticipated British attack, Rommel takes elaborate defensive measures. He constructs intricate barbed wire entanglements and a series of minefields called Devil's Gardens, acre after acre of carefully planted high explosives.
Our minefields contain the greatest concentration of mines ever laid, nearly 500,000 of them. These gardens, as Rommel calls them, run along the entire front, in some places as much as 5 miles deep.
With a British attack not expected before November, Rommel flies home to Germany for urgent medical treatment. The 8th Army intends to destroy Rommel's forces in their defensive positions. The method is unorthodox. Infantry will move in first, followed by the tanks. By the end of October, the preparations are complete. Montgomery tells his troops, "When I assumed command of the 8th Army, I said that the mandate was to destroy Rommel and his army, and that it would be done as soon as we were ready. We are ready now." On October 23rd, 1942, 1,000 British guns opened fire. bombardment wipes out the front-line German communications network and plows up Rommel's minefields. The infantry manages to penetrate the main German defense line along a front 6 miles wide.
We are pushing forward, trying to gain ground. We are fired upon, and 1 or 2 squatters drop.
Of the first day's battle, Rommel's replacement, General Stumme, dies of a heart attack. Rommel, upon hearing of the unexpected violent British attack, leaves his sickbed and returns to Egypt. On the 25th, all British armor is in the open. An important landmark, Kidney Ridge, is taken by the British.
Rommel has come back. He has been in a hospital in Austria, but when he heard that the Afrika Corps was in trouble, he demanded a plane and flew here. Thank God for Rommel.
Rommel launches an attack to regain Kidney Ridge. Attack fails. Rommel observes rivers of blood are poured out over miserable strips of land. To add to the problem, the German tanker Proserpina is sunk outside Tobruk. Rommel sends an urgent message to Hitler. The battle will be lost if something is not done immediately to improve the supply situation. In a now or never gesture, Rommel assembles all his motorized units. He resolves to make one more stand, switches his German troops north to the edge of the Mediterranean, leaving the Italians to man the positions along the southern front. The battle is 1 week old. The front is strangely quiet. Monty is assembling a new striking force for the big push, called Operation Supercharge. With the Germans busy up in the north, the whole will be punched through the weaker Italian positions in the south. Montgomery informs General Alexander, his commander-in-chief, "So far, Rommel has had to dance to my tune. I think he is now ripe for a real hard blow."
We are ordered to charge. At this moment, we stop thinking. We fix our bayonets and keep on running.
largest armored engagement of the African campaigns.
Remember, you have a rifle in your hand. You ask yourself, what are you going to do with it? You find that your training period has paid off, for your actions and reactions come almost automatically.
Rommel now has only 35 tanks left. His supplies depleted, his men exhausted, he cannot withstand another attack. Rommel gives his foot divisions a head start to save most of them, and sends a message to Hitler's headquarters requesting immediate withdrawal. A message is received from Hitler. You can show your troops no other way than that which leads to victory or death. Hitler's permission or not, Rommel gives orders to withdraw. The Great Retreat is on.
We are burning our equipment. We are keeping only our field kitchens and our hospital cars. All that I have left is a walking stick and a rifle. We are moving back, and we know that it is all over.
The Desert Fox is on the run. The Battle of El Alamein is over. In a moment, the conclusion of our story. After the Battle of El Alamein, Sergeant Strelo will fight on with the Africa Corps and will be captured in Tunisia by the British in May 1943. Sergeant Burns will continue to fight in the Algerian campaign. Later, with the 7th Armored Division, he will participate in the Normandy landings. With the decisive British victory at El Alamein, Rommel's Africa Corps is mortally wounded, and the grandiose German dream of conquest in the Middle East is forever shattered.
When the war ended, like every Japanese soldier who fought in the Philippines, I expected to be brought back for the war crimes trial and executed. I never dreamed I would come to live in the country of my enemy.
In 1941, Isao Mukai was a second lieutenant in the Japanese Army. Today, he is a gardener in Southern California. Manuel Mabunga is an administrator with a government agency in Los Angeles. In 1941, he was a corporal in the Philippine Scouts.
I tried 3 times to escape from the Bataan death march. I was captured and made to dig my own grave. Most of the people in the march thought the sentence was carried out and told my family I was dead.
At the start of the Pacific War, in the battle for the Philippines, the lives of Manuel Mabunga and Isao Mukai came together for a brief moment. 2 fighting men, 1 Filipino, 1 Japanese, relived that moment in history. The Philippines, the strategic heartland of the Far East. Less than 300 miles from Japanese bases in Formosa. Over 5,000 miles from American bases at Pearl Harbor. To the Japanese, the Philippines mean only one thing: a base to be captured, a power to be destroyed. The prize of victory? Manila Bay, strategically located, one of the finest natural harbors in the Orient. July 1941. With war clouds gathering in the Pacific, General Douglas MacArthur arrives in the Philippines to command the American Army in the Far East. MacArthur is no stranger to the Philippines. He has already served 10 years on the islands. MacArthur calls up the Philippine Reserve to active duty. American officers are brought in to train them in a hurry. Washington now gives the Philippines top priority. MacArthur has promised that by April 1942, he will have all the men and equipment he needs. The race with time begins. Half of the American Army is Filipino, a corps of hard, well-trained men called the Philippine Scouts. Among them, a 20-year-old private, Manuel Mabunga.
We get the same training as the American Army, but we are paid less money, about $9 in American currency. Our own training becomes more difficult. We are required to march 30 to 50 miles with full combat equipment. The morale of the American and Philippine soldier training side by side is quite good. We know from training that something is brewing somewhere. But with the strength of the United States behind us, we don't think war will ever come to the Philippines.
By the end of November 1941, nearly 300 planes have arrived in the Philippines, but more than half of them are not equipped for combat. Anti-aircraft defenses are noticeably lacking. Throughout the islands, only 2 radar sets are operational. The Philippine Army now boasts nearly 100,000 men on active duty, but most of them have not even fired a single shot in target practice. December 8, 1941. On the other side of the international date line, the Japanese have just attacked Pearl Harbor. The news puts the Philippines on combat alert. Ready or not, the United States is at war. All American planes are ordered into the air. From bases in Formosa, Japanese planes now head for the Philippines. They were to strike Iba and Clark Fields right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. But bad weather has thrown their attack 6 hours behind schedule. The Japanese are worried. They fear they have lost the element of surprise. They are afraid the Americans are expecting them.
There is a warning that enemy planes are approaching. The plane is quite high, but soon we find out it's a friendly airplane, so everybody can relax.
After more than 3 hours in the air, the American planes have made no contact with the Japanese. Relieved, they return to their bases for refueling. While the American crews break for lunch, Japanese planes approach Clark Field. The surprise attack is devastating. In simultaneous raids on Clark and Iba Fields, more than 100 planes are completely destroyed. On the first day of war, the Far East Air Force, the backbone of the Philippine defense, is broken. Next target, the American naval base at Cavite. Japanese bombers, beyond the range of American guns, have a field day. Without air cover, Manila Bay becomes a death trap. What's left of the American fleet is forced to run for its life or be blasted out of the water. In command of the air, the Japanese begin landings on the northern island of Luzon, meeting little resistance. Within 3 weeks, a Japanese invasion force, less than half the size of the combined American and Philippine armies, is driving toward the capital city, Manila.
I shall never forget this Christmas in the Philippines. The spirit of Christmas is of tender words, but instead of men bringing peace and goodwill, we are here to kill.
With no help possible from the Navy and his Air Force shot to pieces, MacArthur feels the defense of Manila is hopeless. He declares it an open city and orders his men to pull back to the ultimate defense area, Bataan.
It is difficult to evacuate your own home ground. How will our families defend themselves? What will happen to them? The enemy will first contact with them.
The Japanese victory plan is ahead of schedule. Only 25 days after the invasion, Japanese troops pour into Manila. The Japanese find no American troops in the city. The military installations destroyed. The supplies gone. The American withdrawal is regarded as an admission of defeat. Imperial headquarters considers the Philippine campaign virtually over. One entire division is ordered out to Java, and a small brigade of older men scheduled for garrison duty is brought in to mop up. One of these men is a 39-year-old veteran of the China campaign, Second Lieutenant Isao Mukai.
私は中隊長に任命された。I am assigned as a company commander, but there are only 30 soldiers to the company. Every company is under strength. We are part of a mixed brigade, composed of soldiers from various parts of Japan. Most of the men are too old for battle. One man is over 50. We are not well trained. Our equipment is poor. We are ordered to attack the enemy who has retreated to Bataan. We are greatly disappointed. It is no honor to be sent into battle when the war is almost over. We will not have a chance to render meritorious service to our country. Certainly we are confident, and we have no doubt of the outcome.
We pull back to Bataan. Here, we set up our main battle line and fortify it with everything we can. We have the support of heavy artillery. The plan is simple. Hold the Japanese at all costs.
The Japanese expect little resistance. The victory, they feel, is already theirs. They await a surrender. The Americans have a different idea. January 8, 1942. Misjudging the American positions and greatly underestimating the American strength, the Japanese push into Bataan. The first day, they meet little opposition. Their commander reports, the Americans have made a general withdrawal and fled into the jungle without a fight. He is wrong.
They are only 200 yards away from our front line. We wait for them to come up. When we see their helmets moving, we concentrate our fire in that direction. Our mission is to hold them as long as we can.
We are pinned down and cannot go forward. The enemy fire is very accurate. They seem to know our exact movements. It is no matching firing. If we fire one shot and raise smoke, they fire a dozen right back. I see several people blown to pieces. I tell myself, this is probably the end. We are not able to find out where the enemy is. We try to locate the American positions as their guns are fired, but each time the firing starts from another direction. If we could only charge with our bodies, they would easily come out and surrender with their hands up.
The smoke from the gun gives me some sort of encouragement. Come what may, I'm determined to fight back as hard as I can. We fight just a delaying action. We are on half ration now, so we are in bad shape. But we know they are in bad shape too. We know they have been paralyzed. We know we can handle them.
As long as the Japanese control the sea and the air and can reinforce their men at will, no American counterattack can win. The American task is clear: to fight a defensive war, using as few men and supplies as possible. To fight not for victory, but for time.
I remember questioning this Filipino who said he was gathering food for his family. Then he signaled the Japanese to fire on us. I fired on this man who was running back behind the line. I never realized that my rifle would kill a man of my own race. We have to pull back to reorganize. We have held this position for about 20 days now, but the Japanese are relentless, and they managed to break through our left flank.
The Japanese now try an attack on American morale. Instead of bombs, they drop propaganda leaflets to break down the American will to fight.
These Japanese planes fly over us and drop these leaflets. They say they came to the Philippines not as an enemy, but as a friend of the Filipino people. They say if we surrender, we will be treated nicely and sent back home to our families.
Attention, attention, Filipinos. We are fighting this war to liberate the people of Asia from colonial rule. We believe in Asia for Asiatics. We regard all Filipinos as our own brothers. Those of you who come forward and surrender can go home to your families.
Quite a few Filipinos are persuaded by the propaganda. But to me, it is a war gimmick to get you now and stab you behind the back later. The food situation is really bad. We are hungry enough to eat anything. We have to kill our packed mules and eat them. Half a cup is rationed to the soldier on the front line.
2 months pass and still no American reinforcements. Instead, MacArthur gets orders from the President of the United States. He is to go to Australia to organize American forces for a large-scale counterattack against the Japanese. No reinforcements arrive. Supplies are reaching the 0 point. The American army starts to disintegrate. Starvation causes more casualties than bullets. Lack of food makes the men susceptible to all kinds of tropical diseases. For malaria alone, Americans trek to the hospital at the rate of 1,000 a day. The Japanese are not in much better shape, and for essentially the same reasons. Disease, shortages of food and medicine have taken a drastic toll. There is one great difference, however. Japanese reinforcements are beginning to arrive.
We now have guns, troops, and tanks from Malaya, Taiwan, and China. When our reinforcements come, we are sure we can defeat the Americans this time. It has been over a month of bitter waiting for us. Now we are waiting for all-out attack against Bataan Peninsula. Our spirit is high, despite the disease and lack of food. We are all serious. We do not talk. We think only about the determined charge we will make.
Along with thousands of fresh reinforcements, the Japanese have assembled nearly 200 pieces of artillery. Continuous bombing will come from the air. Then tanks and infantry will smash through the lines. On Good Friday, 1942, a single word: attack. Despite the condition of his men, the commander of the American forces on Bataan, General Edward King, is ordered by General MacArthur to launch a counterattack. He feels his men cannot delay the Japanese anymore, let alone stop them. On April 9th, 1942, to prevent a useless slaughter of his men, General King surrenders Bataan to the Japanese.
We try to fight our emotions, but we can't hold back our tears. Everything we have been fighting for gone down the drain. We wonder how the Japanese will treat us as prisoners.
Nearly 80,000 Americans and Filipinos surrender. More than the Japanese had imagined. An army of skeletons, diseased, starving, dying of thirst, is forced to walk 65 miles under hot, broiling sun. Nearly 10,000 of them will die along the way. More here than on the battlefields of Bataan. History will call it the Death March.
At the start of the march, one Japanese officer gave me some of his rations to eat, rice and soya beans. It was the first time in months that I tasted actual food. Then I went on the march, and he went on his way.
I feel sorry for the prisoners. I know they had a hard time too. I give them cigarettes, which is by order prohibited. Many of the Filipinos are released. The rest of the prisoners will be sent to Manila in a month. I don't know what will become of them. I know of no instance of brutality against the prisoners. Of course, we cannot treat the enemy we fought like a brother. But in war, everyone mistreats others. You cannot blame only one side.
The guards treat us very bad. We can even grab any leaves to eat or get a drink of water. We walk side by side, Filipino and American, helping each other out. Many do not have the strength to walk. I began to think that my last hope is to escape.
Corregidor, the last obstacle to Japanese victory. With Bataan out of the way, the American fortress stands as a helpless victim of Japanese gunfire. It resists for 5 more weeks, then it can resist no longer. The Japanese set out to conquer the Philippines in 50 days. The Americans resisted for 149 days. But on May 6, 1942, General Jonathan Wainwright signs the surrender, officially completing the fall of the Philippines. After the Battle of Bataan, Lieutenant Isao Mukai is put in charge of a prisoner of war camp in the northern Philippines. In 1943, he returns to Japan on garrison duty. As the war ends, he is training the Home Defense Corps with bamboo spears. Corporal Manuel Mabunga escapes from the death march, hides in the mountains till he regains his strength, then fights with a guerrilla movement for nearly 2 years. In 1945, he joins with the American forces liberating the Philippines. The military victory at the Philippines was clearly Japanese. But the Americans and Filipinos who fought at Bataan and Corregidor occupy a glorious place in American history. They fought with courage when defeat was certain.